So often on these videos recently, we find ourselves talking about Mohamed Kudus, Jared Bowen, Lucas Paqueta, and rightly so, by the way. These are the match winners. These are the Hollywood players, the flair players, if you like. And you know what? They've been doing brilliantly because they've been winning us games with the first two that I mentioned scoring us goals. Paqueta getting loads of assists. Clearly, they're going to grab the headlines. That's why I thought it was so good with the win against Arsenal, was down to what I would call the unsung heroes, if you want. And there was just so much to admire. And I'm sort of conscious about the players I'm going to talk about leaving anybody out. But if I do leave out Kudus and I do leave out Bowen, it's not because I don't think they did a shift against Arsenal. I absolutely think they did. I just think it's really nice to highlight some of the players that just put in these sort of warrior-like performances, if you want. And I know that probably sounds a bit ridiculous in terms of a football match, but it was the word that was sticking in my mind when I was watching Angelo Ogbonna play. And I was really pleased that somebody wrote that very same word in the comments after the review I did after last night's game. Well, let's start with Ogbonna. It was unexpected, I have to say. I've got to hold my hands up here and say I thought this player was finished. I thought he'd had one decent performance this season and a bunch of shaky ones, a bunch of poor ones. It's easy to look back on hindsight and say, oh, you know, you were wrong and you got that wrong. But he was terrible in those games. And for that reason, I thought he was finished. Well, he just looked like the governor in this game. He really did. There he was, repelling attack after attack. He was like, you ever seen 300, where like the 300 Spartans are they're sort of repelling Xerxes' army of 1 million. He was a bit like that. He was puffing his chest out. I was expecting him to shout, "This is Sparta!" at one point. I never knew why King Leonidas had a Scottish accent. But anyway, it was like that. It was heroic stuff. Absolutely heroic stuff. And you know what? Fair play to him. Next to him, Konstantinos Mavropanos, he's getting better, isn't he? He's growing into himself. It's easy to say because he scored the goal against his former club, and that's a great story, of course. But I've had a level of sympathy for him. I said this before the game in the build-up show. He keeps playing in defences he's never played with before. It's not just defensive partners either. Against Manchester United, it was a completely different back line as well, and this just keeps happening. There he was again with a new defensive partner, and it always seems to be the guy next to him who's getting the almost the man of the match performance, as it were. Yes, something has to be said for Mavropanos. It's a good signing, very, very good signing, and I'm really glad that we bought him. I was sceptical again, you know. Thought we keep buying these centre halves, and if you'd have asked me last season, I thought Kera had finished last season strongly. I thought he was going to get a chance to play. Little did I know that whatever was going to unfold would unfold. But I thought we were probably good in the centre back department. But obviously, whatever Tim Steiten, David Moyes, whoever it might have been, saw fit to bring another one in. I'm glad we did. He looks to be a really good player. When Manscaped asked me to inform you that all of their products are USB-C compatible, I thought, what's a testicle shaver got to do with cage fighting? But no, it turns out that USB-C is actually one of these bad boys. Do you know what it is? You probably do because you've already got one in your house. It's a charger. It's the same charger you use to charge your phone, and all their products are compatible with them. Look, I could spend ages talking about Manscaped's individual products, but I tell you now, they make the best male grooming gear that money can buy, and we can offer you a 20% discount by just putting in the code word, say code word like it's no secret, Hammers Chat, all one word, in the discount box when you use the link below and go to their website. I always use this thing, it's a beard trimmer. I've been using beard trimmers for years, always have the same problem with them. I lose the nozzles at the top. Basically, the thing that does a different grading for the length of the beard, I lose them. The 0.1, the 0.2, the 0.5, I just lose them. Manscaped invented a system where you don't have to detach the grading nozzle at all. It's ratcheted so you can raise it up and you can raise it down. It's even got indicated all the numbers at the back so you can trim your beard to the length that you wish to do it. Don't take my word for it though, have a look at this. And there you have it. So if you've got a hairy face of hairy ass balls, or all three, you can do a lot worse than go and check out what Manscaped's got to offer. Use the link below, but most importantly, use that promo code in the discount box. Hammers Chat, all one word. Vladimir Coufal, I mean, his warrior spirit should surprise nobody. It certainly doesn't surprise me. I think it was him. Maybe did a headed clearance off the line or pretty close to it, but he's up for the battle all the time to the point where it's not even worth discussing him. I'm going to leave Emerson out of it because I discussed him and I sort of credited him with sort of two. He assisted the assister, didn't he? And then sort of won the penalty. We spoke about him. I'd almost consider him one of our creative players. And I don't want to call him an unsung hero. We talk about Emerson plenty, so we'll leave him sort of alone for this one. Edson Alvarez was immense, and I felt there was something symbolic about us bossing midfield, which was led by him when we were facing our former player, Declan Rice, £105 million footballer. It's a hard one as a West Ham fan because I guess, you know, I see it as much of it as anybody because I operate and I do videos on the internet. But you get rammed down your throat about Declan Rice from opposition fans, Arsenal fans primarily. And it's really good. It felt symbolic for us to come out of that game with the two players who were bought to replace Declan Rice in Edson Alvarez and James Ward Prowse getting the better of Rice. If you remember what David Moyes said, he said, we're not going to be able to replace Declan Rice with just one player. We're going to have to get a couple to do it. And I guess what he was suggesting was Rice is such an all-round player, such a finished article in that sense. He does the defensive game and he can create as well. And so for that reason, he's obviously bought James Ward Prowse for his assists and he's brought Edson Alvarez for his defensive capabilities. And I just thought it was really symbolic, really fitting, actually, that they dominated the midfield in the way that they did. I'm really enjoying watching Alvarez dropping in deep to be our middle centre-back at times. The two other centre-backs go wide and the full-backs sort of are able to advance up the pitch a little bit. I love it. It's becoming a feature of our play. He's attritional. It's just brilliant. We are so much better without him. Somebody else might be able to look at the stats. I do wonder if the clean sheets we keep have all been with Alvarez in the team. I suspect they might be. Maybe somebody could check that out for me. But it seems to me that that's the case. Ward Prowse was everywhere. So like I said with Mavropanos, almost forget the goal. With Ward Prowse, almost forget the assist. So many tackles, so many passes, so much work rate, so much endeavour from that player. A proper unsung hero. He grafted and he grafted. I watched it on Amazon with Ali McCoist was commentating. He was very impressed with James Ward Prowse as well, and it was nice to see it being picked up upon. That's for sure. What a great performance. There were people in the comments last night suggesting it was Ward Prowse's best performance or it was Alvarez's best performance, or I don't know. The truth of the matter is I don't know. What I do know is that's the sort of performance you get when pretty much the whole of your team are either an 8, 9 or a 10 out of 10, and that's the levels were so high. The individual levels were so high, which made it collectively so good and so impressive. Thomas Soucek. Almost forgot Soucek. How could I? Scored the first goal. Another selfless performance, really, from Soucek on that score. The graphic flashed up on the screen, his 5th Premier League goal. Well, he got his goal. Timing arrived late in the box. He was there. I think what sort of typified it most was if you look on the thumbnail for last night's video, the one where I said incredible performance, Arsenal 0, West Ham 2. There's a picture of sort of Declan Rice with his head in his hands. That's a sort of separate picture. But a photographer has taken a picture of the moment Jared Bowen is keeping the ball in play. And Mohamed Kudus is just there. So we know what's going to happen next. Jared Bowen's going to keep the ball in play. He's going to play the ball back. And Mohamed Kudus is going to leave the ball. And then Thomas Soucek is gonna score. At the point where Jared Bowen's keeping the ball in, Thomas Soucek's not even in shot. He's not even in this photograph. That's how late he arrived. That's how good his timing was. So he got his goal and he just battled some more. Blocks, headers, throwing himself in front of everything. Just some absolutely magnificent performances there. And probably, sorry, I should probably finish on Areola. That sounds really wrong. I should probably I should probably finish by talking about Areola. Sorry, I do apologise. I should probably finish by talking about Areola. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's very childish, very puerile. Get it together. There you go. He was a busy boy, but as I said in last night's video, I didn't feel like he was forced to produce a string of world-class saves. He, look, off the back of a drubbing, off the back of letting in all those goals against Liverpool, I think it really took something for David Moyes to put him back on the team, particularly given that Lucas Fabianski had 2 clean sheets. But he did. And that's good management. And I have to call it as good management, because I'm happy enough for David Moyes to call it when I think it's bad man management. That's good man management. And he's been rewarded. He's paid him back. Faith from the manager and Areola has paid him back there. So just some really good performances. And as I say, not the Hollywood stuff. No 3 assists from Paqueta or all of this stuff. And, you know, a goal apiece from Bowen and Kudus and all that. No, it wasn't their game. It was a game for the unsung heroes. It really, really was. And I just thought they were absolutely magnificent. And, you know, as I say, probably of the lot, Ogbonna, because of the performance, the Spartan performance, because of the situation where he comes from, because of the context of him having that terrible injury, him being the age he is, the fact he's slowed up so much. It was a Herculean. I've switched my heroes now. It was a Herculean performance. It really was. There was one point where people were jockeying position for corners. He was just pushing his opposite number. Really good. Another point where he come flying out of defence as well, almost in sort of midfield area. Did his stuff, got back in line, led. And he does talk, Ogbonna. I never noticed it until COVID. But, you know, COVID, before they started filtering in the fake crowd noise, that's when I first noticed how noisy Ogbonna was. And I noticed he was just chatting the whole time. So that's good. A good decision to include him. Right, so I thought it was a wrong decision. I'd have gone with Thilo Kehrer. I was wrong. The manager was right. And a good decision on captaincy as well, because I really did think he led. Look, overall, absolutely brilliant. And it's going to be... It's interesting looking at the Brighton result. Not quite so interesting, I guess, you know, for North London on that night of football. But I don't know if Brighton are picking up. Maybe Tottenham played sort of into their hands. If we can find a way to beat Brighton, then it really has been quite remarkable. Still a long way to go after that. We're going to have to see through January, see through the African Cup of Nations without Mohamed Kudus, who's such a threat. But if we're going to do that, we're going to need those unsung heroes again. We're going to need some more battling performances. And I've got to say, after that performance and result, not just performance and result against Arsenal, I've a lot more faith that the unsung hero is going to do it.